Hi everyone, welcome to Inkwell Games. I'm Anastasia and I'm going to walk you through how I solve Lesson 1 in STARS. So I tend to always look for small regions. In this case, I have a region of 3 cells. And I'm going to experiment with that. If I were to place a star here, I realize that there's no other spot in this region that I could place a second star without it touching that first. And so what that tells me pretty quickly is that this cell actually can't be a star. So I'm going to mark it with an X. A lot of solving these games is actually identifying where stars can't go to then tell you where they can. Therefore, in this region, I only have 2 options left and I'm looking to place 2 more stars. So I'm going to place 1 star here and 1 star here. So that finishes that region. I have 2 stars in that region and they're not touching. Wonderful. As we know, stars can't touch each other, which tells me I couldn't put a star here because it would be touching this one. I couldn't put it here because it would be diagonally touching. Same with here and here. So that sort of covers this star. It's completely isolated from any future potential stars. And now look at this one. I couldn't put a star here for that same reason. It would be touching. It would be diagonally touching. And it'd be diagonally touching. So that really helps me start to narrow things out. And what I notice is in this region, actually, there's now only 2 options for stars, and this region needs 2 stars. So I'll go ahead and I'll place 1 star here and 1 star here. I'll do what I always do is cross out any cell that touches those because those cannot contain stars. Great. So that narrowed out a lot of that left side of the board. I'm also always trying to keep an eye on my columns and my rows. Remember, every column and row has to contain 2 and exactly 2 stars. So in this case, this column already has 2 stars, so I can cancel out these. And in this column, it only contains 1 star, but there's only 1 possible option left for that second star in that column. So I know I can put a star here. And when I place a star, I can cancel out any cells that touch that star. That's great progress. I'm always also looking to see if regions become smaller such that I have additional information about them. And so in this region down here, I happen to notice there's only 3 cells left. And much like this first region, when there's only 3 cells left and I need to place 2 stars in it, I know that I can't place a star here. It's just like that first region now, where I have to place a star here and a star here. I'll do the same thing. I'll cross out any cells that touch those stars I just placed. I'll realize that these are both in the same column, so I can cross out the rest of the cells in this column. Great. In this case, I've now finished this row of stars as well, so I can cross out these stars. Great. So that gave me a lot of information. I'm making great progress. And I'm going to keep going. There's a few different paths I could take here, but in particular right now, I'm looking at this region, sort of the backwards rotated L. And one thing I realize is if I were to put a star in this center region, this cell actually touches every other cell in this region, which means it couldn't be a star because there'd be no room for a second star. So I can actually X this out. Then I know that there need to be 2 stars in this region, but they couldn't be these 2 cells because then they would be touching each other. Therefore, I know at least one of the stars in this region has to go here. It doesn't tell me where the second star goes yet, but it soon will. I placed a star, so let's cross out the cells that touch it. And I realize that that's actually the second star in this row, so I'll cross this one out too. Suddenly, I have information about this region. This other star in this region must go here. Great. Let's see. I notice that this region now also looks like that backwards L. This cell touches all the remaining options in this region, so I can cancel this cell out. Again, it can be one of these, but it can't be both. Therefore, the other star has to be here. Place the star. Let's cross out everything that touches it. Let's not forget this one, that diagonal touch. It's also the second star in this row, so we can draw that line across. And again, that helped me finish out this region. This region now only has 1 option remaining. I'll place a star. I'll cancel out the touches. It's not the second star in this row, but there now only is 1 option left in this row, and actually this column as well, so I can place a star here. That's that row, that's that column. Let's see. I'm looking up, and in this region now, I see that same backwards L shape. Again, I know can't be one here because it touches all the remaining cells. Therefore, there must be one here. Let's cross those out because they touch. This is the second one in the column, the second one in this row. That leaves only this option left in this region. I can cancel this star out, this cell out because it touches. In this row, this is the only option left. It's also the only option left in that region. Great to know. Cool. This column only has one option left. This is starting to go really fast. That finishes out this row. This region now just has that one option. It's the only option in that column as well. Let's look across. There's 2 cells left, but this one already has 2 in its column. Therefore, this is going to be our final star. Congrats! Welcome to STARS. Hope that was helpful in your solving journey. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. There's a lot of different strategies. There's a lot of different ways to approach these puzzles. So excited to see what you find out.